Hey, I'm Alicia Dianne. I help visual artists discover that you already have everything you need to tell powerful stories. On this channel, you're going to get tutorials, behind the scenes of my graphic novel process, and step-by-step tools to turn your sketches and ideas into original characters, worlds, and completed content. If you want to take your art to the next level, subscribe and let's start building together. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch into our Photoshop window. Full transparency, my Photoshop has been acting crazy today. It crashed on me about 10 times in a row, so I'm really just hoping that whew, that it's going to work out okay. So let's see. I'm going to open up Photoshop. Okay, here's Photoshop. Here's where I left off last week. I want to see where I can get as far as just getting on to the place where I want to be with all of this. So I know I was editing. Is this the right one? Yes, I was editing this. I'm going to bring in my next page. And this one I know is going to be a combo because I redid this one. So let's see. Hopefully it will work for me. So I have this and I have the revised version. Let's see, where's spread 2 revise? It might be in here. Alright, so that one I need, and that one. So I'm going to use these two. So this is probably going to be interesting because I have to do a couple of things. Hopefully it will turn out all well. So first let's copy this and move over here. And right where I have this, I'll put this one. This one can go into the garbage. This, I'm going to move over to make sure that it's aligned. But I need to put my move tool on for that to work. So let's go ahead and move this and put on multiply for a second. So I need to bring that up higher, just to see that it's aligned with where it needs to be. Okay, now that that's taken care of, I can delete that. And like I said, I'm kind of holding my breath because Photoshop did not like me earlier today. Alright, so now that I have this comparison though, I surely should have did this last week. I have the comparison so I can see what color the red is supposed to be. I can see what color the tan is supposed to be, because if you can remember, I was editing those things because it wasn't, because I painted it the wrong color by accident. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit them just a little bit first on the first page so I can get my color how I want it, because I think I made it a little bit too saturated. So I'm going to take out some of that saturation that I placed in there. I don't know if I... Let me try. I wonder if the polygonal lasso tool might work better for this. Let's see. It's a little bit more... It lets you create these points, but the only thing is it's kind of... You can make as many as you want, but I just didn't want it to like affect the edges. So let's see if it'll do what it needs to do. Maybe it will. That's one space. Maybe it will work better with polygonal lasso. I learned so many like comic making tips from the comic artist who I was TAing for a few years ago. He helped me out so much. Mike, if you're listening, thank you. You solved so many of my problems that I didn't even know I had. But I learned this tool from him. We were teaching middle schoolers how to do this. So if we can teach middle schoolers how to do this, then you can do this. Alright, so I'm gonna select all of these areas with this red earth because it's not the right color there for that I wanted to have. So we'll see. There's a couple of things I want to talk about today. I am in my process of writing 100 scripts in 100 days. I have been on this process for the last 20 days, 21 days. Today's day today's day 22. Today's day 22, and I have so far written 21 scripts in this 22 days. I need to do the 22nd one. I might save it for tomorrow because I have a lot of catch-up work to do as far as like planning stuff and getting back on track with JD's story. But I'm on target for where I want to be. I'm doing this because I'm breaking down a lot of storytelling, and I want to have I just want to get a lot of access to things that I feel you can only learn through experience and trial and error. And what better way than to just throw myself completely into the process. So that's what I'm doing. They're all short films, so I'm doing short films. I'm not writing in any other format other than short films. I'm doing shorts between 1 and I thought they were all going to be 1 minute. That was my original plan, that they're all going to be 1 minute films, but some of them are going up to 7 minutes already. So, and I'm writing these fast. I'm using I'm using my storytelling strategies, and I'm planning to do them all short, but some of them I'm just I'm getting as far as I go, as longer as I'm in it, I'm just going and making more detailed stories and getting more into the plot and all of that stuff. So it'll be fun to see which of these films actually get made, because I know that I'm going to be making some of them for sure into animated shorts. Alright, so image adjustment. Let's see. I want to go into hue, saturation. Take off some of the saturation here. It's too saturated. I even need to adjust the hue a little bit. Let's see. Just by 1. And let's bring the color down, maybe a little darker. I think that's where I want it to be. Push OK and save it. Okay, and let's see, do I need to? These two are different colors, so let me go ahead and fix that too. I am going to be nitpicky about certain things just for quality control, because I don't want anybody coming and talking about my comic outside of his name and saying she did this not the best way possible. So no, this is a quality series. It's been how many years already working on this project? More than I would like to recount. So no, I'm not gonna shortcut when I'm right next to the end on silly things. I don't want to nitpick overly, because I don't want to be what some people do is procrastinate, out of claiming for perfection. And I'm not trying to be perfect, but I do want to make sure that the quality is on point where it needs to be. So that's something you have to decide for yourself when you're making your own graphic novel. It's oh no, I didn't push shift. I pushed caps lock instead. So what you want to do is you're gonna have to discern for yourself. I don't know how you figure that out. I think my best advice for that could be to look at the artworks of people that you admire and look at their standard. Even if you might be a beginning artist as far as making content, you still want to have a reference for like the standard you're kind of trying to set for yourself. I think that's important. This part, and the reason I'm just doing this part of the road because I notice it's significantly lighter than the other side of the road for whatever reason. Make it darker too, deeper. There. A little bit more saturation maybe. Here's how my hue is. I think I'm okay with that. It feels better than before for sure. Alright, let's leave it there. And now let's see if everything looks how I want it to look. I think this tan could be a little bit more. You never want to do like, and I did this, so I'm warning you. You never want to do it so that you make it so hard on yourself that you give up. And I did that for a while with this book, and that's why I think that I tell you, I had like a stalemate of like a year where I just couldn't even work on it. I just couldn't get myself in the mind frame. And one of the things that happened that made that happen was I forgot my process, my original process. So I was doing all of the ink and watercolors simultaneously, where before I had broken down into doing the watercolor first, all the watercolors, and then all the inks after, so that, you know, it's faster to get through each page during the process. But I had forgotten that I did that the first time, and so I just started, you know, trying to finish all the pages at once, and that was a mistake, because it felt like each page was too overwhelming to get through. So I just I got burnout. I experienced burnout. So I don't want you to experience burnout. I want you to experience a peaceful as possible process for whatever it is that you're doing. Oh, dang, I keep doing that. All right, let's see, shift. I gotta remember to push shift so that I can keep my already selected area selected. All right. I wish I could just, what's the word? Just use my magic wand and it would select the right spots, but maybe they need to make like an AI magic wand so that it will think which area you have in mind. If you tell it something like, all right, I want this whole tan ground, and then it will do it. I wonder if that's gonna be something. I mean, I wish they would use AI for something other than stealing work. As far as art is concerned, because it's definitely useful for me for planning stuff. All right. Okay, I think that's all the area I want to select. Image adjustments. Hue saturation. Let's try and mess with the hue to get it to that more of a reddish tan. That's not what I want. That's a little bit better. -5? No, I don't get it. -5. I think that's good. I'm gonna click OK. Okay, so we're making progress. However slowly, it's still progress. Alright, so now I want to get the big red road and make it a yellow road. Yellowish road. Alright, so what did I want to talk about today? I have some tips and stuff that I'm planning. I was going to do that first. I think I talked about it in my last video, like what my next video was going to be about, that it's clearly not about. That's because I don't know what's going on, but my computer was just crashing, so I was trying to build the PowerPoints, and I was trying to prep what I needed in Photoshop, and it was just not aligning with me. So you know what, sometimes you just have to, instead of giving up, I noticed that too, like, those were one of the things that I noticed yesterday. I think I had a little bit of a lesson, even when I was doing something completely unrelated. I was getting ready. I usually run a couple days a week. I like to run. That's my workout, that's my exercise. I sit in my chair most of the day. I try to eat moderately healthy. I am a mostly vegan. I'm vegan 90% of the time, and other times I eat regular ice cream and stuff, and I know I shouldn't, but I'm learning not to. It's a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, but I do a very mostly vegan diet, and my little bit of exercise is to go for a run and to go to dance practice. But the last couple of weeks, while I've been, working on a very special project that I will reveal to you later. I'm not revealing it yet. I'm just working on a special project, and so I did get caught up in just the production stuff instead of like my health and fitness stuff as well, which is important because the healthier or stronger you are, like the longer you're going to be able to make the stuff. That's how I have heard it said, and it makes sense for me, so I want to stick to that. I say all that to say, yesterday, I worked first, and I was going to go for my run at it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But the problem was I stepped outside, and it was awful. It was like 91 degrees is what it said on the forecast. It was just like dry. I don't know if it was like humid or it was, I couldn't even tell if it was humid or dry. It just felt like stale, like stale air. It just felt like it would, like, you step outside and it just sucks the air out of you. It sucks the moisture out of you. Is that humid or is that dry? I think that's humid. I think that's dry. Anyway, it was bad conditions for running, and I was like, well, maybe I should just do something else for my little aerobic exercise today. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to run. Running makes me feel strong. I can do something else, but I'm not going to really feel like I did anything, because if I don't get my run in and I'm already behind, like I already feel like crappy because I didn't run the last week. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Even though the conditions aren't what I would want it to be, I'm just going to do it anyway. And so I did it anyway, and it was pretty bad. Part of it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as like bad as probably was in my mind. And also I got through it, and I lived to tell you about it. So it wasn't that really bad. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna suck it up sometimes, even though if it's not gonna be the ideal thing. Sometimes it's just better to just do it. I don't even know what I was relating this to. Oh, I was relating to posting, because I was gonna post about something specific, and I wasn't able to. So I was just like, well, should I still post? And I'm like, yes, well, just post what you're doing now. And so I've decided with myself that I was just gonna post anyway, even if I didn't get finish like the type of content I wanted to make for today. I can still share this process, and I think it will be helpful to somebody. So that's my lesson. My long-winded lesson that sometimes it doesn't sometimes you're not going to be able to do it how you want to do, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at all, because maybe you can still do something valuable. And that is my TED Talk for now. Okay, so I'm going around Atsuki the goat. And let's see where we get. Oh crap. I messed up a little bit, but that's okay. So I can use this manual one to fix it. Okay, let's get this one other area. Also, oh crap. So glad for Control Z. Imagine having to do that whole thing over. No thank you. No thanks. Alright, I think one more spot. I'm trying to get all of this included. Alright, so this needs to turn tan. So let's go ahead into image, adjustments. Oh, I think I was on the wrong layer. Image, adjustments, hue, saturation. And let me pull up, I don't know why my mouth is acting weird. Why am I getting all this spam text? I'm getting so much spam text. I'm like, did I post my phone number somewhere? I need to check and see. Make sure that my phone number is not. I think it might be on my contacts. Let me check. I need to check. I'm going to take it off. Alright, so let's see. Into my notes and drawing notes. Okay, so watercolor. Okay, so tan to red. Red to tan. Hue 18. Hue is plus 18. And then this saturation is 0 and lightness is -8. Ooh, that don't look right. It's too dark, so maybe. So this is a base point anyway. So let's see. This is gonna make it more green. So maybe making it a little bit. Maybe I need to make it lighter. I think I need to make it lighter, and then that feels better. For my hue, I need to change the hue anymore. For the saturation, maybe a little bit lighter. Let's see. I think I'm good with this. Let's push OK. And let's work around the red. Alright, so make sure I'm saving because I don't need any more crashes from Photoshop. I checked on the Adobe website and apparently there's no more upgrades that I'm needing, or what do they call it? Updates. Apparently I'm all caught up on updates, but that's not how Photoshop is acting with me right now. Make this a little bit bigger. I think Photoshop is still mad at me for ditching it for Procreate. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of competition there. There could be. What are some advice? Let's see. What are the things that I'm learning from my 100 scripts in 100 days? Why do I always do these countdown things? I think that's just my way of making it easier for myself to set goals. It's having some kind of a theme, and especially if it rhymes or if it's a number that is making sense. Alright. This part I have to focus. Alright, so that part of the street and over here. Alright, so what have I learned so far? I've learned that it's easy when you can set yourself a time limit for doing something that's hard. When you're doing something that's challenging or something that is newer to you or something that you still feel maybe out of your comfort zone, give yourself a limited amount of time to work on it so that you don't get overwhelmed. And don't start with like a big number like 5 hours. Start with something small, like 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Like keep it between that number and don't go over it, because otherwise you're gonna be so overwhelmed that you're not gonna do it. So keep yourself a limited amount of time when you're starting to something that is new for you. Another thing I learned is, gosh, if you learn anything from me about storytelling, character, if you don't take the time to understand who the story is about, then don't bother. Like, why are we going on a journey if we don't even know who we're going on a journey with? Like, why are you going to go for a walk and you don't know who you're going on a walk with? Why are you going to, look through a dirty pair of glasses? Basically, if you don't, your character is going to be the lens of your story. to the audience. That's the person they're going to latch onto and the person they're going to see themselves through. So please, if you're going to write a story, understand the character. What else can I say? I'm learning through this process. Don't wait until the end of the day to do the harder things or the more challenging things or the things that you've committed for yourself to do. Do them early. Do them first thing. Reading was a very hard habit for me to form. I was never really a reader growing up. I didn't like to read books. I don't know why. I just was a visual person. And after I aged out of picture books, which can you? Yeah, I mean, when you're at that age, I've gotten back into picture books. But you know, when you become a teenager, it's not really cool to be reading children's books. It doesn't, you don't look like a mature teen that you want to feel like. So I just stopped reading. I mean, I liked watching movies still, so I consumed creative content, but I wasn't consuming books. And any books that we were assigned in high school, I didn't read them. I didn't read any of the books that we were supposed to read. Why? Because I didn't want to, and I don't know what I made up about this. I have no idea how I passed any of those types of classes where we had required reading. Oops. But I did not read. So I had to train myself how to read as an adult. And it's a skill that we all need. And I think it is a skill. It's something that you practice and something gets easier and you get better at picking the stuff that you like. I really don't read fiction. The only fictions I read is like screenplays, which I haven't in a little while. But I'd rather read self-growth, self-development type of books. I read the Bible. I read, what else I read? A lot of self-growth and development books. Other than that, you're not going to catch me reading. I guess memoirs, but that still feels like advice in some way. It still feels like some sort of, guidance. So, let's see. Hue saturation. Alright, so red, tan to red. So those are the types of things I read. Alright, so tan to red is -15. Ooh, that's so bright. Ugh. Maybe -8. Let me see. 10. 12, maybe. 10. Try to compare with the other one too, because maybe 12. 15 is too much. So let me change that to 12. That seems right, even though that might even be too much. I think it looks bright. I think I might leave it at 10. So -10, and then it's supposed to be between 6 and 17. That's a big range. Saturation. Change red. Oh, that's so much. I don't think it needs any saturation for this one. If anything, it just needs to go darker. So let's go darker to, it says 8, but we'll see. Maybe a little bit of saturation, not much though. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 right there. So maybe 11, it's about 10, 11. Saturation. Alright, so minus 11, and then I'm going to change it to 5, and this one is minus 8. I think that works for the lightness. I made it darker than that. It feels too dark. Alright, so this is where I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to save it. I can't believe it took so long just to do that. And then deselect. Alright, so let's see. Let's move this. I think I'm going to leave it here. Oh, I have one more thing to do. I have to import this part. I wish I didn't add all the extra stuff. Okay, well, we have to do what we have to do. So let's go ahead and do this. Get JD in the picture with her color corrections. I think Sabrina's hand is coming over hers, right? Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to see, I'm going to do it with a regular lasso. And then we're going to go from there. If there's anything else I can teach you, I think I'm not giving enough space. I need to go a little bit past, I think. Oh. No, maybe not. Alright. Alright. Let's just hope that it comes out nice. The only thing I'm nervous about is the edges, like the little bits of white. I had not done this before, like just doing one character, but I've done it a few times for this book, so we'll see if I'm able to do it in the future or not. I don't know. I feel like if it makes sense for what's happening, I'm gonna have to play it by ear. Otherwise, I don't know. Hopefully I don't have to do the whole page over. I didn't want to put that energy out there. I'm just gonna like believe, because it was only JD's skin that got messed up, and it's because I was using two different paints. I still didn't get the complexion I wanted for her, so I'm gonna have to modify that in Photoshop, and I did that before, just adding another layer of color, but it just is what it is. I was using a different brand of ink, which is a good quality brand, so-called. It's a really like top tier paint brand, but I don't like the way their watercolor is coming out for this. So it came out like looking really chunky and not smooth like this one. This one is Koi. I swear by Koi watercolors. They're made by Sakura. I don't really like to use any other watercolor as my main color. I use like this other cheap brand actually for like background things, rare background things, or like certain colors that are only on that color palette. But I'm 99% of the time I'm using Sakura paint. I don't want to hate on that one cheap brand though, because that one actually works a lot better than that so-called high quality brand. But I don't like to experiment. I haven't used a much of different other brands. I have this one like Japanese watercolor, which Sakura is Japanese company also. But I have a different one that I don't know if it's like a really old formula or something, but I don't like it for this. I think I can do like different experimental work with it, but not for this. It's more like chalky, or like it feels much more dense, almost like a gouache. So I can't use it for this. Even though I have used, did I use some gouache before? I may have used gouache, like watered down a lot for the first book in some parts. I kind of explore around when I'm doing this type of work. Maybe when I'm doing every type of work, I kind of mess around with stuff. Alright, so let's copy. And let's see where I'm going. You are seeing something that no one else is seeing. It's not even the same size, is it? It's almost. It's like, oh my gosh. That's pretty cool. It's almost like you can't even tell. I'm gonna have to get it right. I'm gonna have to move it around still. I think it's a little bit bigger or smaller than the other original one. Not by much, but just by a little bit. So I think I can just fix that easily. Let's see. 100.1. I should do like let's see if I can multiply this just to get it to where I want it to be. I changed some things with the face too, because I think it was a little bit off model, so I had to make her jaw like more square. Like I said, the color is still not right because I couldn't get it, so I'm gonna have to manually do that in the after edits. I think the size fit better before. So you're gonna know something that no one else is gonna know when you're reading my book. And what I might just do is do like a little bit of, well, that's weird. I wonder if, oh, you know what I can do? I'm gonna duplicate this. And smooth this down here. Right, so let me choose this. I'm gonna select the inverse. And I'm gonna fill it with white. Fill, edit, fill. Background color. And I'm gonna turn this to multiply and see how that works. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference. I still need to get her ink out. So let's see. Oh, that's perfect. And other than that, I might just need to do like a clone stamping over here. Let's see if I can do that. Clone stamp. Like I said, I had never done this like this before. Where is my clone stamp? Alright. Alright, I have to go in just a moment, but let's see if this is possible. It is possible, because everything is possible. Alright, let's see. Clone stamp. I'm just going to take that and literally just erase what could not be erased in real life. Oops. Clone stamp is awesome. If you haven't used it before, this is something I learned at my first art school like 20 years ago. Literally over 20 years ago, because it was before my son was born. He's 20 now. So I learned this literally over 20 years ago, and I still use it today. And it's still very relevant for Photoshop. But what it does is it grabs a part of the painting or whatever it is you're working on. You could do it for the photograph too, and it just copies that area into the place where you brushed. You're really brushing with your own paint and brushing with your own source material, so that it can be essentially invisible to anyone who doesn't know any different. And that's what we want. We want to just cover up what's happening. And you know, if we have to do photo edits to do that, then that's what we need to do. So literally covering up like the pieces from the previous painting that I don't want there anymore. Pieces of old JD. This is like getting very symbolic. It feels that way to me. But I think this is such a great tool. You can experiment with it and just see. You want to use a brush you want to go in small. You don't want to go in with a really big brush because it's just not going to blend well. So go in small and just, you know, get it. Just do whatever you need to do to just get rid of those parts that you don't need. And anything that's not blending in, just, this is going to be your friend. You go pretty high up. You have to be careful. I just keep doing it. You press Alt to grab the spot and it will give you that little, like, that little target, and that will show you like where it's picking up from. Alright, so I'm also going to, let's see, erase here. where Sabrina's arm is crossing over. That's weird. I'm going to do just a little bit more and then we'll be done. Cover up these spots where we're getting like the double vision. You need to take your time with it. I don't know if there might be easier ways to do this now. I mean, like I said, like I was doing this 20 years ago, so there might be easier ways. If you have an easier way, let me know so I can save more time. It's a long process. If I can save a couple minutes here and there, it'll be much appreciated, you know? But this works, so I'm happy to report that success is happening with this. So good. And it will show you where it's picking up from with the little plus sign, because it will follow you. It's not just taking from one spot, it's taking from that area to repeat the pattern. So just, you know, be careful that, you know, you're not picking up what you don't want. But it will show you the area it's picking up from. You want to pick areas that are close so it's not like colors change so much, like you don't even realize how much colors will change in one document, like from one spot to the next, especially when you're working with some like organic materials like paint. Make sure that she doesn't have 6 toes, please. We don't need that. We don't need JD walking around with 6 toes. What kind of heroine is that? She's not gonna be the hero with 6 toes. That's weird. Unless you want a hero with 6 toes, I mean, and then, you know, the world is your oyster, I guess, to use a overused term. All right. Okay, I think we might be good on this. Let's see. And you can't even tell, huh? Can hardly tell. So I'm gonna flatten this. Hopefully that works. Let's see, flatten. Group. And dare I merge it down? Let's see, hold on. Actually, never mind. Oh man. I may need to keep it like that and just put these together. Alright, I'm gonna put these together and I'm gonna lock it. That's the next best thing. Is it locked? It didn't lock. Okay, let's lock it. Alright, so let's Command S, and I think we're okay. Let's see. JD, I can unlock that a second. Right here, just gonna pick something really fast. I want it to be a little bit more red, I think, in this area. I'm gonna call it, and it looks pretty good to me. Hold on 1 second. For this part, let me fix her hair. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist. I'm just trying to take. But if I notice something that bothers me, then it's gonna bother me. Let's see. Is that on this layer? Maybe I just need to erase right here. Alright, and then I gotta stamp it. Let's see. Alright, see, just a little bit, and then we're good. Alright, so let's open it up, see what we did today so far. It looks pretty good. I'm happy. We changed the flooring, and we got new JD in there, and we're just on the first spread. A long way to go. Alright, thank you so much for watching and joining me for making a graphic novel. And I will see you all very, very soon, because I plan to be a lot more active, and I am making those steps. If you're not following me yet on TikTok, I have a couple of cool new videos that are very, I think, Gen Z worthy. Don't mind me, I'm just being an elder millennial. But until I see you next time, be grateful, live balanced, and always be yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.